Hello students, I welcome you all to the lecture series of Meat, Fish, Poultry Processing Technology. This is Murali Nayak, Assistant Professor, Department of Food Technology. Today I would like to discuss egg structure, its composition, nutritional value and quality evaluation methods of egg. And now we will see one by one. See, India is holding 5th position towards the production of eggs. India it is having 5th position, or it is holding 5th place towards production of egg. China is the largest producer. That means China it is holding a first place. China it is in first place towards production of eggs. See, in India, even though we are having in the 5th place, but in India, Tamil Nadu it is holding first place towards egg production. In India, Tamil Nadu is the largest producer. That means in the, Tamil Nadu it is holding first place in India towards egg production. Next, as far as consumption concerned, the total eggs consumption is estimated to increase from 34 millions in 2000. During the year, we consumed 34 billions of eggs. But if you see in 2020, we are consumed so far. This is October month. Till October, we consumed 106 billions of eggs. By the end of the year, it may goes to 110 billions of eggs consumption also. See, this is the consumption rate of India towards eggs. Next, per capita consumption. If you say eggs, every year in India we are consuming 80 eggs per year. As per the statistics, 2020 statistics, we are consuming only 80 eggs per year. As per NIN, that means as per the recommended daily allowance, we should take, that means we are supposed to take 180 eggs per year. That means we are lacking 100 eggs. That means we have to increase our consumption by taking more eggs. This is all about introduction of egg structure. Next, coming to the topic, if you see hen's egg, the structure of hen's egg consists of 4 different parts. One is shell, second one is shell membrane, third one is albumin or white, and fourth one is yolk. These are the 4 different structures or 4 different components does hen's egg consists. See, this is the structure of egg. If you see, we have 4 parts, 4 components like, right, shell, second one is shell membrane, fourth one is white or albumin, fourth one is yolk or yellow yolk. Here, see, shell, outermost portion of egg is nothing but shell. Outermost portion of egg is shell. Shell, it accounts 11% of total weight of an egg. Shell, it consists of, or it accounts 11% of total weight of an egg. Beneath to the shell, this is also a shell layer. See, to the adjacent to the shell, there is a membrane. This membrane is known as shell membrane. Shell membrane. The percentage of this shell membrane, that means weight of this shell membrane, is negligible comparatively with other components. And the next, third one is white. This is it's a white portion. This is a white portion. White portion is also known as albumin portion. See, this white or albumin portion, which accounts 58% of total weight of an egg. it accounts 58% of total weight of an egg. If you see this yellow portion, thick yellow portion, this is albumin, sorry, yolk. See, this yolk accounts 31% of total weight of an egg. It accounts 31% of total weight of an egg. If you see the center of yolk, it consists of ring structure, concentric rings. These rings are nothing but latebra. And if you see the sides of yolk, it has thread-like structures. This thread-like structure is nothing but chalaza. The main function of this chalaza is to hold yolk in the center of egg. It helps to hold yolk in center of egg. If you shake also, after some time, if you see the egg through candling technique, you can observe the position of this yolk in the center because it consists of chalaza. This chalaza, it helps for holding of egg in the center. Next, it has, if you see at the end, broader end. See, if you see egg, the top portion is a cone-like structure, the bottom portion is a broader end because it consists of air cell. This is a air cell. Next, now we will see one by one. If you see the shell, it is the outer protective covering of an eggshell, which comprises around 11% of total weight of an egg. For example, one egg, if the egg it is having 100 grams, out of 100 grams, 11% is shell. 11% is a shell. If you see this shell, this shell portion, it is mainly composed of calcium carbonate. 99% of shell, it consists of calcium carbonate. If you see shell, assume this is a shell. If you see this shell under microscopic region, you can find pores. These pores are known as shell pores. If you see an egg, it consists of about 15,000 to 17,000 of pores are there. If you see egg, it contains 15,000. This is a approximate value. Based on size of the egg, the number it increases 16,000 sometimes. That means this is the range of pores size. Out of 15,000, hardly 20 pores only. 20 number of pores allows bacterial penetration. Remaining 15,000 pores which allows loss of carbon dioxide and moisture from the egg. These pores they won't allow carbon dioxide to enter into the egg or oxygen to go out from the egg components. Next, see the shell structure. If you see the cell structure under microscopic region, apart from the pores, it consists of three different units. It has three different basic units. Though the basic units here are outer cuticle, which is made up of keratin. If you see this is shell membrane, it consists of pores. If you want to block these pores, 20 pores, you have to coat it with a layer called keratin. Next, second one is middle spongy or calcareous layer. Third one is inner mammary layer. These are the basic units of shell. Next, coming to the shell membrane. if this is a shell membrane, this is a shell. Beneath to the shell there is a membrane. That membrane is called as shell membrane. Shell membrane is tightly attached to shell. See, this shell is attached to the shell membrane. That means shell membrane is tightly attached to shell. It has, if you see the shell membrane, if you see this shell membrane, this is a shell membrane. This is a shell membrane. It consists of conical end and broad end. The broad end is nothing but, because here it consists of air shell. See, the outer thick and inner thin membranes are usually inseparable. See, this is the shell membrane attached to shell. This shell membrane, it consists of outer and inner membrane. These shell membranes are inseparable except at the broad end, because it consists of air cell at the broader end. The outer thick and inner thin membranes are usually inseparable except at the broader end of an egg, forming air shell. The shell membranes, the main objective of this shell membrane is it acts as a defensive mechanism. It acts as a defensive mechanism. For example, if you keep your egg in open environment, obviously what happens, losing of its oxygen or entry of carbon dioxide into the components occurs. This shell membrane, it protects for some time without losing of its oxygen or without entry of carbon dioxide into the shell membrane. That is why this shell membrane, it is also acts as a defensive mechanism. Here shell membranes are a part of inbuilt defensive mechanism in the egg, because of their role to act as a protective barrier against bacteria. It not only helps to protect losing of its gases, carbon dioxide and oxygen, it also helps to protect egg from bacterial entry. Next, if you see the air cell, if you keep your egg in open environment or under storage conditions, ambient conditions, for a longer period of time, what happens? The size of air cell increases. The size of air shell increases because of losing of oxygen and carbon dioxide entry from the components. The air cell continue to increase in size during storage due to loss of moisture, and along with the moisture, shrinkage of the components also occurs. When the shrinkage occurs, size of air cell increases. Next, coming to the third component of egg, that is albumin. See, if you see albumin, the albumin, it is also known as white portion. Albumin is also known as white portion. If you say albumin or white portion, it accounts about 58% of total weight of an egg. It accounts 58% of total weight of an egg. If you see albumin under microscopic region, you can find out 4 different layers. They are outer thin layer, outer thick layer, inner thin layer and inner thick layer. This thick layer is also known as chelagiferous layer. This what you call inner thick layer is also termed as chelagiferous layers, because these chelagiferous layers, it helps to hold yolk in the center. See, the portion of thick and thinner portion, we have inner, outer, thick and thin portions, right? See, the portion of thick and thin white varies according to the breed and age of the hen. If the age of hen is more, obviously what happens, thick inner and thick outer layer formation occurs rather than forming thin layers. If the age of hen is it is comparatively less, that means less than 1 year, what happens, thin layer formation occurs, more thin layer formation occurs. That is, thick layer component is comparatively more when the age of hen is more. The inner thick white layer surrounds the vitelline membrane of yolk, and its film mucin-like structures continue as chalazae. If you see more thick layers, if you see more thick white layers, these white layers it forms a vitelline membrane over the surface. These vitelline membranes of the yolk forms a mucin-like fibers. Those mucin-like fibers continues as a chalazae. Here the specific function of chalazae is to keep yolk in the center. To keep yolk in the center is the function of chalazae. This chalazae is formed by combining vitelline layer of yolk as well as the what you call inner thick white layer. Next, coming to the yolk. If you see the yolk, the protein percentage is 0, whereas albumin fat percentage is comparatively 0 or negligible. If you see yolk, it accounts about 31% of total weight of an egg. It accounts 31% of total weight of an egg. See, this yolk, it consists of 4 different structures. Those 4 different structures are nothing but vitelline membranes. The purpose of vitelline membrane, it helps to these vitelline membranes combines with the inner thick white membrane, inner thick white layer, and forms mucin fibers, mucin-like fibers. These mucin-like fibers are nothing but chalaza layers. Chalaza layers. This chalaza, it helps to hold the yolk in the center during the storage. Next, second structure is concentric ring of light and dark yellow material. If you see this structure, see, if you, after cooking, if you break yolk into 2 equal halves, you can find a white layer, a whitish layer. That whitish layer is nothing but concentric ring. Concentric ring of light and dark yellow material. Next one is latebrae, and fourth one is germinal disc. Germinal discs, these are located in the cone of latebra. Next, this is all about what you call structure and components of egg. Now we will discuss composition of egg. If you see egg, for example, assume here egg, it is having 100 grams. Out of 100 grams, 74% of the water composition is 74%, and protein 13%, and fat 11%, ash 0%. If you see white portion itself, it consists 88% of water. 88% of water. White, it consists of 11% of protein. 11% of protein, and fat is completely 0 or negligible. And then ash is a 0. If you see yolk, see the percentage of water in yolk is 48%, and the protein it is 1.7%. 1.7% of protein. See, if you see white also, it contains a fat, but it contains unsaturated fats. Unsaturated fat is an essential fat. Next, yolk, the fat percentage is 13%, and ash composition, it's 1%. These are other components. Shell 9%, yolk 29%, albumin. This is all about a composition of egg. Next, see, albumin may be regarded as a protein system. It consists of microscopic fibers. If you see albumin or white portion under microscopic region, you will find out these are microscopic fibers. These microscopic fibers, they forms globular proteins. We have three type of proteins, right? Primary structured protein, secondary structured protein, and tertiary structured protein, and quaternary structured protein. Till primary and secondary protein is a protein. That means primary one is a non-functional protein, secondary one is functional protein. Till secondary structured protein is a protein, whereas when you wanted to see the action of protein like into an enzyme, it has to be further folded into tertiary structure or quaternary structured protein. See here, all tertiary structured protein and quaternary structured proteins are globular proteins. Globular in the sense complex protein. If you see this albumin under microscopic region, you can find out these ovalbumin, cone albumin, ovomucoid. If you see the relative amount of ovalbumin in albumin, it is a 54%. 54%. If you see composition of egg, albumin it consists of 58% of total weight of an egg. Out of 58%, ovalbumin it accounts 54%. The main purpose of characteristic function of this ovalbumin is phosphoglycoprotein. Phosphoglycoprotein. See, glyco means it's a carbohydrate, protein means protein. That means it is a conjugated protein. To the conjugated protein, phosphate molecule is attached. That to inorganic phosphate molecule is attached. This inorganic phosphate molecule, it helps for digestion of conjugated proteins or conjugated carbohydrates. That means conjugation means it contains two different components, protein with non-protein portion or carbohydrate with non-carbohydrate portion or lipid with non-lipid portion. Here glyco means carbohydrate, protein means protein. That means these are heteromolecules. That means it does not contain same molecules. Next, cone albumin. Cone albumin, it accounts 13% of total weight of an egg, total weight of albumin. The main objective of this cone albumin is it helps to bind metals, especially iron. It helps to bind metals, especially iron. It acts as a chelating additive. Next, ovalbumin. Ovalbumin, it accounts 11% of total weight of an egg. It helps to inhibit trypsin. Trypsin means trypsin is a protein digestive enzyme. If you consume this ovomucoid portion, automatically the trypsin is inactivated. Activity of trypsin is inactivated. That means you cannot digest proteins properly. Next, lysosome. Lysosome, it has 4 different portions. They are globulin G1, G2 and G3. This it accounts 10% of total weight of albumin, and this lysosome, it helps for the lysis of some bacteria. Next, ovomucin, it accounts 1.5% of total weight of albumin, and it acts as a sialoprotein. And flavoprotein 0.8%, it binds riboflavin. And ovo inhibitor, it inhibits proteases. Protease is nothing but proteolytic enzyme. Proteolytic enzyme means it's a protein digestive enzyme. These ovomucoids inhibit the action of protein digestive enzymes. Next, avidin, it binds biotin. These are the characteristic features of albumin components. Next, nutritional value of egg. If you see egg, out of 100 grams, if you consume 100 grams of egg, you will get 6 grams of protein. You will get 6 grams of protein. See, generally egg it is considered as high biological value food. What do you mean by biological value? For example, if you take 100 grams of protein, your body should have a capacity. That means the particular food has a capacity to absorb by your body. Egg it is having a 95 to 98% of biological value. For example, if you eat 100 grams of egg, almost 98 grams of egg components are absorbed by your body. That is the reason this egg is considered as high biological value food. The egg protein is of such a high quality that its biological value has been taken as 10. Out of, if you take a 10-point scale, out of 10, the biological value of egg is nothing but 10. That means almost 100% of egg its components are absorbed by our body. And this egg nutritional value is taken as a standard for evaluating other type of proteins or other biological value of food products. Next, if you see egg, it consists of all essential amino acids which were required for our metabolism. All the essential amino acids are required in human diet are present in egg protein. Egg it consists of all essential amino acids, that is linoleic acid, oleic acid, arachidonic acid, linolenic acid, all double bonded, that means unsaturated fatty acids are there in this egg. An egg also provides 5 to 6 grams of digestible fat. If you see egg, it consists of fat, that too digestible fat it consumes. Most of you think about, if you eat yellow portion, you will gain more cholesterol that leads to heart attack. That is it is completely wrong, because this fat which contains in egg is digestible fat. Sometimes if you eat, if you see, an egg it also provides 5 to 6 grams of essentially digestible fats, wherein the portion of much desired unsaturated fatty acids, especially oleic acid. If you see the egg, it consists of all essential amino acids. Along with that, it contains unsaturated fatty acids which were required to meet our metabolic rate. So the most amount of unsaturated fatty acid does an egg it consists of oleic acid. Specifically, oleic acid is composition is more in eggs comparatively other unsaturated fatty acids. Next, egg is an important source of fat soluble vitamins. It is a very good source of fat soluble vitamins, which includes A, D, E and K. It also contains B complex water soluble vitamins, specifically B complex vitamins. And this egg does not contain vitamin C. Egg does not contain vitamin C in its composition. This is all about nutritional value of egg. Next, nutritional value of egg. If you see by consuming 100 grams of egg, you can get 3000 riboflavin in the international units. Next, protein 70 grams, fat 50, carbohydrates 570 grams, calcium 0.8, phosphorus 0.9. These are the nutritional value of egg. Next, egg is a very good source of other minerals. Along with the fats, proteins, vitamins, this egg is also considered as very good source of minerals. That is the reason it is considered as high biological value food. So if you see egg, it consists of minerals such as iron, phosphorus, potassium and trace metals which were necessary for the formation of blood. These minerals, all these minerals helps for the formation of blood, and as well as bone and soft tissue formation occurs by the action of these essential and vital minerals. And though cholesterol content of egg is comparatively high, it consists of the cholesterol composition of this egg is high, it is not likely to significantly influence blood cholesterol. If you consume this egg yolk, it will not directly causes what you call significant this cholesterol. It likely not likely to significantly influence the blood cholesterol level unless taken indiscriminately, because cholesterol is found in blood, nerve tissues and other parts of human body. Next,